those who work for it and feeds it to the dogs of war, to wasteful federal spending, and to the international banking cartel. The Fed is a blight on all humanity. And the struggle to abolish the Fed is one that is just beginning. The simple goal should be to return the money power to the people where it belongs. When one flips through the pages of the history of the world, one finds that liberty is as rare and fragile as a desert rose. In history, liberty is the exception, not the rule. I've lived in communist China for 4 years, and believe me, liberty does not exist where it is ruled by men instead of ruled by law. Liberty must be fought and won for by every generation. So today, who is going to fight for liberty? I will, and if my campaign's volunteers are successful, once again, the 15th Congressional District of Pennsylvania will have a public servant who speaks the truth. Today, the struggle is against the domestic oligarchy, a two-headed, one-party system backed by the central bankers of the Federal Reserve. But remember how America was born in open rebellion against a foreign monarchy and the central bankers of Europe. America won its freedom from tyranny once before, and we can do it again. My last note. For many years, our money was printed with the face of a tyrant king. For the past few years, our money was not imprinted with, for many years our money was not imprinted with the face of a dead king or a dead president, but instead, these gold and silver coins were marked with a single word representing the idea that our founders desperately wanted us to never, ever forget and to always strive for. It is their message passed through time. What was that idea? What was that word? Liberty! In our communities, for many, many years, fighting tyrannical issues like eminent domain and working hard to spread the message of truth, supporting liberty candidates and candidates that have always put the Constitution first. He's here to make an announcement of his own today. Without further ado, Pat Sellers.
Thank you, Rob. And hello, all you freedom lovers. Just about a year ago tomorrow, I was down here, and I was one of the featured speakers, and I gave a speech, 20-minute speech, and the Fed. You can go to my website, patsellers.org, and you can read it to see how long I've been fighting for your issue. So I closed that speech by saying that if each and every one of us in this room today would go home and think about either running for local office or finding a candidate, a like-minded candidate, and helping them get elected to local, state, or even Congress, that the effect would be literally earth-shaking. That was about a year ago. And then I went home, and a few months go by, and our campaign for liberty in Chester County, we began to talk about what we were going to do when Jim Gerlach, my congressman, announced he was going to run for governor. Well, we all agreed good riddance to Jim Gerlach, and we would begin to research the candidates as they developed, and we interviewed one of them, and we checked the voting records of the others, and it became obvious that we weren't going to find a candidate who was willing to say that we need to end the Fed. And then a few days go by, and I was watching my infant grandsons, twin grandsons, crawl across the kitchen floor, and Drew, the older, he bumped his head and he started crying. And I thought to myself, if he only knew his alleged share of the national debt is about $35,000, he'd really have something to scream about. And I thought to myself, am I going to wait until he enters the workforce when his alleged share of the national debt is 3 or 4 times that amount? Or am I going to do something about it? And I ask myself, is he even responsible for generations of pork barrel spending and generations of intervening wars we had no business being involved in?
No!
Well, I say, hell no, he's not responsible.
No! No! Hell no!
So after some soul searching and talking to some of my core meetup people and my friends and my family, I decided that I was going to come down here today and announce my candidacy for the 6th District Congressional seat. Now you can go back home and dial up patsellers.org. It's just up and running. We decided Wednesday night we're going to do this, and Eric Johnson, my technical director, he began working on the website. It's just a shell. We only have one platform plank so far, but stay tuned and we'll fill that website up, and I need all your support to help me because we can do this. Now I've been winging it the whole time here, but one of my friends gave me Tom Roeder gave me some closing statements, and we all agree that by having a non-interventionist foreign policy, by having peaceful, friendly relations with those who wish to trade with us, by refusing to interfere with other nations' internal affairs, by withdrawing from the despotically controlled UN, and by securing our wide open borders, we will begin to fulfill our obligation, our duty to our children and our children's children to make this a better, safer, and more prosperous world in which to live. If we end the Fed, we can really make this a better world. God bless you all. Thank you, Carl. We'll give it back to Rob.
Thank you, Pat. I'm going to be going inside to set up, but before I do, there's one word that stood out in my mind in what Jake said. That word is rebellion. Think about that word. Rick Karaji. Rebellion!
I'm not here to announce my candidacy, partially because I give some credit to the profound saying that problems cannot be solved with the same level of intelligence that created them. This initially was a politically charged problem that was created. Fellow countrymen, good people of the Free Republic of Pennsylvania, family and friends, we gather here today on this most inauspicious of occasions in appeal to the sensibilities of our fellows and also to remind our servants just who the masters are. For nearly a century, our communities, our fortunes, and indeed our very way of life has been assailed by the malfactions of the haughty Federal Reserve System. This miscreant is known by many names, ranging from the Money Trust to the creature from Jekyll Island, to my personal favorite, the Rothschild love child. But it is perhaps most infamously known as the Fed. Its insidious financial devices have converted kings into paupers, landowners into tenants, and men into the purses of debt. Its wielded power makes it unanswerable to even the most well-intended body politic. Criticisms of its commissions are rarely found in any substantive dialogue in the quote-unquote mainstream, and are most often pensioned to the relegated voices of fringe political groups and conspiracy theories. Its influence is neither finite